All right, so let's take a look. 10 questions on the quiz. The first 4 are from 5-4. So really, 5-4 was pretty basic. I gave you a 10 to 18, okay, on 5-4, page 302. So I could give you any of those 4 on that page right there, 302. Are you looking at it? It's loading. Okay. What? All right. So A, B, and C. This is A, this is B, this is C. That must mean this is angle C, this is angle A, and this is angle B. All right, so I'm going to give you 4 problems. Pick a problem from from 10 to 18. Pick one from 10 to 15. 15? Okay. All right, so 15 says if B is 33.2, Sam, do you have that, the rest of it? And what else? Angle B is 61. Find side A. All right, so this is what it's going to look like on the quiz. I just got 4 questions. We'll do 2 of them right now, okay? And then we'll go on to 5-5. So this is the only stuff from 5-4, is this situation right here. All right, so what's this going to be? Let's put it in here, 33.2, and then find A. So that's what we're solving for right there. And angle B is 61 degrees. There you go. It's pretty basic. All right, it's pretty basic trig ratio stuff, trig function stuff. All right, so I got to find A, so I need that. What is A to the 61? Is it opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? Which one is it? A to 61. It's adjacent, right? It's adjacent. What side do they actually give us? What side do we know? It's opposite. So I've got opposite and I've got adjacent. That tells me which trig function I should use. It's the tangent. Opposite over adjacent is tangent. So I'm going to take the tangent of what? 61. I always take the tangent of the angle. Never take a tangent of a side. Doesn't make sense. All right? You're always got to take a sine, cosine, and tangent of an angle. So it's the tangent of 61 equals the opposite over the adjacent. The opposite is 33.2. The adjacent is, just call it A. And we got to solve for A. So the math, I just finished in the last class as they walked out. I did a problem almost identical to this. How do I get A by itself? Well, it's on the bottom. Don't want it on the bottom. Where do I want it? On top. So what am I going to do? Multiply both sides by A. So I'm going to multiply that side by A, correct? So you know it's going to cancel. Now I have to get rid of this tangent of 61. Now the tangent of 61 is just a number, some decimal number, all right? How do I get rid of that number if it's being multiplied by this A? I divide it, so that goes down here on the bottom. So basically all I did was what? Switch the A and the tangent of 61. You see that? So you should be able to just look at that and do that in your head. When you see this, you say, okay, your mind's thinking, okay, that goes here, that goes down here. So A is 33.2 divided by the tangent of 61 degrees. And they put it into your calculator, and you get an answer. Turn that on. All right, so 33.2 divided by the tangent of 61, tangent 61. I like to close the parentheses. And there you go, 18.4. Does it say to round it to a certain thing? Yep. It says round it to the nearest tenth. So that's pretty easy, 18.4. And that's how long side A is right there. That's all they ask for. They don't ask you to do anything else on that particular problem. We good? All right. Super easy, right? That's section 5.4. Now do you remember it? Okay, good. Let's do another one from here. Let's get rid of all this. Since we'll keep our picture right here. Find another one. There's some that have the minutes and seconds in it. Do one of those. 18. Read it off to me. A is 22.3. Okay. Oops. Hold up. Let me get my writing thing right. 47, is that what you said? Okay. 18. Yeah, that's minutes. Does it give you seconds? Okay, that's fine. All right, find C. All right, I'll put C equals question mark. All righty. I like putting them on the triangle, don't you? Just kind of makes me visualize it a little bit better. I'll tell you what, before I put the angle in here, let's change this to a decimal. All right? So since they gave it to you in minutes, do you remember how to do that? So it's 40 degrees plus 18 over 60, because 60 seconds in a minute, right? Minutes? Okay. And then if you had seconds, they don't on this problem, but on other problems they do. If they had seconds, what would you do? Add whatever that number is, what? Over 3,600, okay? But there are no seconds, so we don't have to worry about that on this problem. Everybody good? All right. And then you just stick that in a calculator. And you're going to put it right here. So what is 18 divided by 60.3? So it's 47.3. Where'd you get 0.5? Because 30 over 60 would be 0.5, wouldn't it? I don't know. So anyway, it's 0.3. All right, so that's what we're using. So we're using 47.3 degrees. Everybody good with that? All right, so you do have to convert. You're not going to have a problem on there where the only thing is you have to convert. But on this one, it's part of doing the problem. All right? And now the rest of it is just like we did. It's the same exact thing, isn't it? Because they gave you angle B and they gave you this side A right here. Well, actually, no, because you had to solve for A on the other one, didn't you? All right, so let's do this. Solve for side C. So that's what we're solving for. But you got adjacent, and you got what this time? Hypotenuse, yes? Okay. So what trig function uses adjacent and hypotenuse? AH, Aaron Hamrick. Cosine, right? So the cosine of 47.3 is equal to what? The adjacent, 22.3, over the hypotenuse, which is C. The math, the algebra is exactly the same as what we did before, isn't it? So the C's on the bottom, so I put the C up here. Can you do this in your head now? Talk to me. C equals what? You got it. Yep, over the cosine of 47.3. Oops. 47.3. And you throw that into a calculator, and you get whatever they tell you. What was it, number 18? 32.9. Try it. Everybody make sure you know how to put that into a calculator. All right? So that should be 32.9. That's what the book says anyway. And there you go. So section 5.4, pretty easy, right? Yeah, not that bad. And I take the problems that I have on the quiz are exactly from the homework. I'm not telling you which ones they are. Okay, there's 4 out of, what, 8? 9, actually, because of 10, right? So 4 problems out of the 9 I actually put on the quiz. Okay. 32.9. Does that work? Okay, just making sure. Sure, I looked at the right problem. All righty. Now, let's flip to 5.5. And you probably have 5.5 on you, don't you? Because we haven't collected that yet. So 5.5. I got 2 problems like 15 to 20. Okay? So 15 to 20 are problems 5 and 6 on the quiz. So give me 1 or 2 of those. Try to give me a variety. 15 to 20 on 5.5. 15 to 20. I picked 2 of those. You tell me which one you want to do because I don't want to like give it away if I pick it or not pick it. Anybody? Is Sam the only one playing this game? 19? Thank you, Gavin. Sine of x equals, what is that? Is it negative?
Negative square root of 2 over 2.
Okay. All right, if you read the problem, I'm not going to write that whole problem down. It says solve each equation if x is between 0 and 360, which means you just don't want to keep going around the circle a whole bunch of times. All right, you just stay within one time around the circle. All right, so what I would do is this. This is one of our special ones, right? Everybody see that? This is one of our special triangles, square root of 2 over 2. What basic triangle do we use the square root of 2 over 2 with? Well, they're all right triangles. 45, 45, 90. Okay, that's the special one. Now, the sign is negative. So which... Right, it's got to be in which quadrant I was going to say. It's got to be in 3 or 4 because the sign goes up and down. Remember that? Because cosine, sine. If you look at it like this, positive cosine would be this way, okay? Negative cosine, or I shouldn't say positive cosine. When the cosine of the angle is positive, that's probably a better way to say it, it would be over this direction, be either in the first or the fourth, okay? If the cosine of the angle was negative, then it would be either in the second or the third. If the sine is positive, if the sine of the angle, okay, equals a positive, then it would be either in the first or the second, right? Because it goes up. And then if it was negative, that would be in the third and fourth. So it's either one of these. Not just either one, it could be in both of them, and it is, all right? So it doesn't have to be drawn to scale, but it's easy to draw to scale since it's a 45, 45. Okay, that's pretty good right there. And it's also, where else is it? It's also in the third, isn't it? Everybody understand this? Yeah, it looks pretty good. Now, here's the part you guys seem to be having a little trouble with, is what is that actual angle right there? And you could go negative if you wanted to. That would kind of make it easier. What would this be? What would this angle be? Well, actually, you don't want it negative because what does it say? X has to be between what? 0 and 360. So forget what I just said right there. So it's got to be between 0 and 360. So it's not negative, right? So let's do this. We got to do this. Let's change colors. We got to find that angle right there. Well, this one right here is 45. Just take it away from what? No, not 180. Look, 360. Take it away from 360, right? Because look, if I went all the way around the circle, I'd come here. But then I had to back up a little bit. How much did I back up? 45. So what's 360 minus 45? Okay, it's 315. So that's this angle right there, 315 degrees. So if I took the sine of 315 degrees, I could get negative square root of 2 over 2. It's not I could get, I will get. Okay, I shouldn't say I could. Yeah, you're going to have two answers because you're going to have an answer here. Because remember, the sine, that's the sine right there. Okay, it's going down. Everybody see that? It's opposite over hypotenuse. Remember that we always make it's a unit circle, so the hypotenuse would be 1. So what would this be? That would be the square root of 2, negative square root of 2 over 2. And what angle gives us that? That 45 gives us that. But it's not 45 because that would be 45 in the first quadrant. So we go all the way around to here, which is 315. You getting that? Okay, now let's talk about the other one. Let's go different color. So now I want to go to here. So how would I figure out what that yellow angle is? Well, I went from here to here, which is how much? 180, and then do what to it? Then I add, right, because I'm going more, so I add a 45. So what's 180 plus 45? 225. And those are my two answers right there, okay? So x is equal to 225 and 315. Yes? On,
Are they gonna be like 45, 45, 90?
oh crap, I'm glad I looked at this. I got to change number 5 because I didn't finish writing the problem. I just put cosine x equals nothing. I didn't even put an equal sign. So I got to, let me put a little reminder here. Since you said that, I looked at this. That's why I saw it. So that's good. Yes, they will be special. I'll give you another hint for the quiz, okay? They could be like in the quadrants themselves, or they could be those quadrantal angles. Do you remember what the quadrantal angles are? It'd be this angle right there. Let's do that different color. It'd be 0 degrees, or what? 90 degrees, or 180 degrees, or 270. Okay? So if I said, we use sine already. Let's say, what if I said the cosine of x equals -1? What angle will the cosine give you a -1? Well, again, cosine, it's going to be one of these, right? Because what is the ordered pair here? That's 1, 0, isn't it? What's the ordered pair here? 0, 1. What's this ordered pair? -1, 0, and this one, 0, -1. The first one is the cosine, the second one is the sine. Where is the cosine -1? At 180 degrees, and that would be your answer to this. So x is 180 degrees. Make sense? Yeah. I mean, that's a little easier, isn't it? And that's the first thing that we taught when we did these angles. We did these quadrantal angles. Remember that word, quadrantal? Just means at 0, 90, 180, 270, all right? Then you had those special ones. I mean, those are kind of special too, but these are special as well. You got these 45, 40, degree angles, and then you got 30, 60, 90, okay? I didn't even talk about that. Let's do one of those. What if I said, I don't know, I'm just making this up. Let's stay with sine and cosine because that's what I use on the quiz. So let's just say we'll go back to the sine. So the sine of x equals positive square root of 3/2. Where does that occur? Now remember, when you do square root of 3/2, what's the other one that goes with it? So like, watch, if I had a 30, 60, 90, this would be the square root of 3/2, and this would be a half. Okay? Does that make sense? So in this problem right here, 30 degree, if this was 30 degrees right here, what is the cosine of 30 degrees? It's the long one, right? So that's square root of 3/2. What's the sine of 30 degrees? It's 1/2. Okay? So really that ordered pair right there would be what? Square root of 3/2, 1/2. Everybody see that? So when is the sine going to be square root of 3/2 though? Sine is the one that goes up and down. So that means the up and down one's got to be the longer one. So what is that? That's going to be at 60 degrees. That's right. So it's going to be like this. Let's push that over a little bit. Oh, it's all messy in there. Can you read it? What am I doing? Let's try this again. What a mess. All right, but you get the idea, right? It goes like this, and like that. All right? So where is the sine? It's at 60 degrees, right? So one would be 60 degrees. Where else is the sine positive square root of 3/2? It's over here. Everybody see that? Why did I just pick the first and second quadrant? Am I just picking my favorite quadrants? No, because the sign is what? It's positive. So up and down, it's always going to be either in the first, or not either. I keep saying that. It's going to be in the first and the second quadrant. So now what I got to do is find out what that angle is right there. Remember, that's 60 right there. But what is it? Again, this is a huge mess. What is that angle right there? It's 120. Good. okay? Because you go 90, then you go 30, or you go 180 and you back off 60, however you want to look at it. And that still gives you 120 degrees. All right, so it's 60 and what? 120. So if I took the sine of 60, I would get positive square root of 3 over 2. If I took the sine of 120, put it in your calculator, see if it works. Put the sine of 120 in there, see what you get. You get that 0.8660. That's square root of 3 over 2, all right? Once you do these a long time, you kind of remember what the decimals are. Right? It's not 0. It's something else. I don't think it's 0, 0. It's whatever it is. I know it's 0.86 something. I just forget. It just tells you I don't do it all that much. But anyway, it works. All right, so put them in there and see if it works. Whew, what a bloody mess that was. All right. Let's take a look at what else we got. Okay. The ones that say evaluate. Do you see 22 to 27? Give me one of those. We're just going to do one of them. Well, no. Yeah, let's just do one of them. I'll tell you what. I'll pick one. Let's look at 27. All right, the cosine 2. The one that I'm not doing is super, super easy. That should give you a hint. Does it? Well,
One of the ones where you said you see.
yes, exactly. You got it. You got it. It's like if this was a sign right here. Okay, right. Cancel, cancel, boom, 2 fish. You're done. You're going to have one that looks like that. This one, you're going to have one. Just one. Okay, this is one that's not like that. Okay, but I'm not going to go over that one. We just basically did. All right, so here we go. So what do we do here? Well, I'm glad you asked. So let's draw it. Where is the sign? Let's see. Oh, it says in the first quadrant. So we're not even dealing with these quadrants right now. We're just staying in the first quadrant, all right? The sign of 2/5. So what I'm going to do, I don't really care that I draw this to scale. I'm just going to draw a right triangle in here. Is that all right? Oops, that's not a right triangle. Let's try this again. I let go a little too quick. There we go. All right, so there's a right triangle. You don't know that angle. I'm going to call it theta, all right? But it says the inverse sine. What angle, if I take the sine of it, will I get 2 over 5? So again, we kind of did this a little earlier. Where's my 2 and my 5 going to go? Well, this is the what? Opposite, and this is the hypotenuse. It's sine, right? Inverse sine. So here's my angle. So where's the 2 going to go? Right here. Where's the 5 going to go? It's going to go right there. You with me? I'm just setting it up. Yep, I'm setting it up. I don't even have to find what angle theta is actually equal to, because all I want to do is just find the cosine of this angle. You see that? So, but if I find the cosine of this angle, I'm going to go adjacent over hypotenuse, and I just don't know the adjacent. So I do Pythagorean theorem. So let's do that. What's that? 25 minus 4, 21, square root of 21. Can you do that in your head like that? All right. So that would be the square root of 21. So what is the cosine of this angle? It's adjacent over hypotenuse. So it's square root of 21 over 5. And that's all there is to that. Does that make sense? All right, so we use the sine thing to figure out what sides are 2 and what sides are 5. Find the missing one. Why did we have to find the missing one? Because we got to take the cosine of it. Okay, we got to do adjacent over hypotenuse. So we do Pythagorean theorem, okay, to find that, and then you're good to go. One. Just one. Like in the homework, you mean? Yeah, kind of. Some are way easier. Some are way easier. If that was sine, then it would just be just 2/5. That was it, all right? Because think of it. You could still set it up like this, right? You do this inverse sine of 2/5, 2 over 5. Then what are they asking for? They're asking for The sine of this. So what's the sine of this? It's the opposite over the hypotenuse, which is 2 over 5. You understand why they cancel out? I'm not getting much response for that. I thought I explained that pretty well. All right, let's keep going. We only got 5 minutes.
When the bell rings for the following
Then, okay, we only have really one more to do.
Evans,
38 to 43.
Ramirez, Brielle Rudy,
38
Lizzie Pasquale, Amy
to
Lou,
43. I'm
Patrick
picking
Crawford,
2 of them.
Dylan Renshaw,
But
Cameron Peterman,
both of these are multiple parts to get the problem right. Okay? You got to solve the triangle. Remember doing that?
Ian Tiley, Xavier Inman, Zach
So
Connor,
solve
Patrick, Abby Samuel,
the
Cameron
triangle.
Jackson,
Oops.
Sophia McCurnan, Ava Velasquez,
Solve the
Jared
triangle. So I am going to give you, so 30, what did I say? 30 what? It's up there, 38 to 43. Why did I say 38? 36. 36 to 43. They're all kind of the same, kind of. So let's draw the triangle. This actually really just goes back to section 5.4, really. All right, and they give you A, B, and C again. This is A, this is B, this is C. And I don't know, pick one, 36 to 43. We're going to do one of them because I only got time for one. Quick, pick one, 36 to 43. Have you been looking? 39? Okay. So A is 3.8. And what did you say, 39, right? B is 4.2. 4.2. And you got to solve the triangle. So that's C. If that's side B, this is angle B. If that's side A, this is angle A. So we got to find angle A, angle B, and side C. What's the first thing you're going to find? C. I would find C. All right, so you just do Pythagorean theorem. I'm just going to look in the book for the answer just because we're running out of time. C is 5.7. All right, it's just Pythagorean theorem. I don't have to do that for you, do I? All right, let's do the other one. So let's find angle A. So if I find angle A, now remember this right here is an approximation. So I would not use that one, okay? Use the two that they originally gave you. So use this B or this A. So what do I got? I got this side and this side. What is that to A? It's opposite and adjacent. What trig function? Tangent. So I take the tangent. See, this is very similar to what we did earlier today. All right, so the tangent of A is equal to opposite 3.8 divided by 4.2. Now, what we're solving for here is a little different than what we did earlier, but setting it up was the same. So how do I get rid of this tangent and just get A by itself? No, I can't divide by tangent. I take the inverse. I made a big deal about saying you can't divide by a tangent or a sine or a cosine, but you can take the inverse of it. And that's 3.8 divided by 4.2. How do you do that on a calculator? We got time just to do this one. We'll probably be done. So we hit inverse tangent. So second function tangent, 3.8, 3.8 divided by 4.2. Close that, and there you go. 42. What do they say to round it to? Round it to nearest tenth, I believe they say. Yep. Yep, round to the nearest tenth. And what was that again? 39. And what did we just solve for? A, 42.1. Is that what I said? Yep, that works. I just like making sure I'm doing it right. 42.1. It's an angle, put degrees. So angle A is 42.1 degrees. Do the same exact thing. Well, not the exact same thing, but do a similar thing to B. So what would you do for B? Again, it's opposite over adjacent. Again, isn't it? Right? So use the tangent, do the inverse. Or you could just do what? Once you find one angle, you could just go 90 minus 42.1. And that would be fine as well. There you go. That's the whole quiz.
And that was those two questions.
Yeah, there's two of those. But there's 3 answers for each of them. You got to get all 3 of them to get the whole thing right. Okay? What do you want to do with that? You want to use it to study? Are you going to use it to study or not? All right, just turn it in then. All right, so I'll take 5, 5. And the quiz tomorrow is 5, 4, 5, 5.